The NFC Championship game. Let's talk about it. Our Rams will travel up to Seattle to take on our division rival, the Seahawks, for the third time this season, with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. There are a ton of storylines heading into this Sunday's conference championship game. Starting with the fact that Cooper Kupp, who just 4 years ago won the Triple Crown Offensive Player of the Year and Super Bowl MVP for our Rams, will now be facing off against his former team for a chance to go back to the Super Bowl. This is also only the second time in conference championship history with two head coaches aged 40 or younger. As a reminder, Sean McVay turns 40 on Saturday, the day before the NFC Championship game. Sean McVay has also faced 15 different teams in the playoffs in his head coaching career, and this Sunday's NFC Championship game will be the first time that he is facing a team for the second time in the playoffs. But more importantly, these two teams are about as evenly matched as you can get. Just look at the numbers from the first two meetings this season and how close they are. Now, let's look at the previous 4 meetings dating back to last season and how nearly identical they are as well. This game on Sunday is also a battle of the number 1 ranked scoring offense going against the number 1 ranked scoring defense. These two teams face off every single season and know each other extremely well. Basically, with all the information that I just shared with you, this conference championship game on Sunday is a coin flip. 50-50. I don't think I've ever seen any teams as evenly matched as these two. The Rams defense has completely overwhelmed Sam Darnold in recent history. As you can see in the 2 matchups this season, Sam Darnold has only thrown 2 touchdown passes and has been intercepted 6 times. Meanwhile, this Rams offense is the only one that seems to give this loaded Seahawks defense fits. As you can see, the Seahawks defense has not sacked Matthew Stafford since 2023. On top of that, in 2 games this season, the Seahawks defense only has 7 QB hits and has not forced any turnovers either. Also, Matthew Stafford has had a lot of success against Mike McDonald-led defenses in his career, with 10 total touchdowns and only 1 interception. And since Puka entered the league in the 2023 season, he has been a Seahawks defense killer. Despite all of these discrepancies, every single matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks comes down to the wire. In our Week 11 win at home against the Seahawks, the Rams defense had 4 interceptions against Sam Darnold and still only won by 2 points. In fact, the Seahawks had a chance to win it at the end with a field goal, but it went wide right. And then in Week 16 up in Seattle, our Rams had a 16-point lead in the 4th quarter, and then momentum completely shifted to the Seahawks' favor on a Rashid Shaheed punt return for a touchdown, a controversial overturned 2-point conversion, forcing overtime, and ultimately another touchdown and 2-point conversion by the Seahawks to win by 1 point. And because of that Week 16 collapse by our Rams, the Seahawks ended up taking control of the NFC West and the 1 seed, and this is the reason why we now have to travel to Seattle for the NFC Championship game instead of hosting it at home at SoFi. All of this to say, no matter the mistakes made by both teams, neither one of these teams has been able to pull away in either matchup. It has come down to a miraculous comeback and overtime win, or just barely hanging on at the end. And that is why I say these two teams are about as evenly matched as you can get, and this game on Sunday is a coin flip. Now, on the injury side of things, the Seahawks are a little bit banged up coming into this game. Running back Zach Charbonnet did suffer a torn ACL in the Seahawks win against the 49ers in the divisional round, and he is out for the season. Therefore, the Seahawks will be relying even more on their RB1 Kenneth Walker, and George Halani has just been activated off of IR and will serve as their RB2. Seahawks tight end Elijah Arroyo has also been activated off of IR and will be good to go for this game as well. All week, there was a ton of uncertainty surrounding left tackle Charles Cross's availability. However, it just recently became announced that he will be good to go for the game on Sunday. That being said, other left tackles for the Seahawks remain in doubt. On the Rams side of things, we have very good health going into this game. One question mark was Byron Young, who has been dealing with some knee soreness, but he did log a limited practice on Friday, and even though he is listed as questionable, he is expected to play. And I will be very shocked if BY does not play in this one. Rob Havenstein did return to practice, but will not be active for the NFC Championship game on Sunday. Warren McClendon will continue to hold it down for him, as he has done most of the season with a lot of success. The keys to a Rams victory here are simple. On the defensive side, continue to apply a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold and force a lot of turnovers. And if we can continue to force turnovers on defense, then the offense needs to capitalize and score on those opportunities. Multiple times this season when our defense has forced turnovers against the Seahawks, our offense has had a lot of 3-and-outs and empty drives, and we cannot afford to do that again in this game on Sunday. And for special teams, I ask simply to punt the ball out of bounds, and for kickoffs to make sure the ball goes to the back of the end zone. Moral of the story, do not let the Seahawks return the ball. The last thing we want is for Rashid Shaheed to touch the ball on special teams. He already got a punt return from us in the Week 16 game, which led to a Seahawks victory, and he had a punt return for a touchdown against the 49ers last week in the divisional round as well. Both of those ultimately resulted in Seahawks victory, so please punt the ball out of bounds and kick off the ball to the back of the end zone. This is going to be a classic, epic matchup on Sunday to determine a trip to the Super Bowl. I am nervous, but also very excited. I have confidence in our guys to get the job done. We got to have our foot on the gas, limit the mistakes, and remain locked in. But again, this matchup is going to come down to the wire, as it has against the Seahawks for the last couple of seasons. We'll see how this all plays out. Let me know your thoughts on all this. And as always, go Rams.